Hello folks, the Celtic Nerd here, bringing you another nerdy video. And we are doing a fairly special video, folks, partially inspired by what I recently have done in Star Wars The Old Republic. Now, if you are a subscriber to my channel, you are familiar with my Let's Play series involving Star Wars The Old Republic. I have now played through... let me just open up, and you can hear my dogs in the background sneezing and whatnot. I have played an Imperial Agent. Now, this is actually the order that I played, folks. I played an Imperial Agent, a Smuggler, an Inquisitor, a Jedi Consular Sage, a Sorcerer, and currently I'm playing Troop Assault. Now, and just recently with the Trooper. Now, keep in mind, folks, Imperial Agent was the first class I played, and we've now again, like I figured, you know, it's time I bring this up because it is quite fascinating in terms of how the Republic and the Empire interact with one of Alderaan's native species, and that is the Insectoid race that lives on Alderaan. Now, those of you that are familiar with the legends of the Killik, you would know how the Celestials interact with them and whatnot. But again, this is in the legends. They're not. It's not the current canon anymore. So we need to keep that in mind. So, in the canon, maybe they've changed. Okay, apparently they're not, because even in the canon, their designation is sentient. Unless around for ABY, the New Republic Vanguard Squadron. Vision to recover national drive. Order Resistance War, Poe Dameron and Finn encounter Killik and their deaths in the passenger car of a train on a mission on planet Camel to negotiate a deal with for livestock that the Resistance needed. So yeah, they are fully accepted as being completely sentient. What did it was there? Was this? Were they in the Clone Wars? Killiks are extensively studied. The species was first mentioned in 1995 book. In which place British structures known as Killik Mounds. This argument inspired design for the Lumen Village in Star Wars: The Clone Wars episode Jedi Crash, as well as the landscape of planet Lothal, seen through Star Wars Rebels. The Killiks themselves had their first proper appearance in the Journey King, the first book, Swords, the Darkness trilogy. Okay, so that's when they first popped in, but it was that episode when we see like their mounds being inspiration. Now, again, if you watched my Let's Play series of Star Wars: The Old Republic, you'll be familiar with the shape of their mounds, which is actually, I didn't realize that those mounds went on, like the design from the earlier things went on to inspire actual canon Star Wars stuff. Now, Star Wars: The Old Republic is not mentioned at all here, as you would have seen. Now, that being said, they are canonized, listed as a sentient race, and in Legends they were also canonized as a sentient race before the reset that Disney did. So hold on, let me just get some water. So their sentience is not in question right now. We've already established that. So, with the reason why I'm bringing I'm top of the Killiks, folks, is because of the Republic's treatment of them. Now, again, this is from the Old Republic era. I can't speak again, as you can see here. There's not a lot of information. They hardly show up in. That's behind the scenes. So, in terms of their actual appearance, besides from Star Wars: The Old Republic, this is their only canon, current canon appearance. Now, mind you, if we were to switch over to the Legends side, as you can see, there's quite a bit more about them, like, being listed. Like, dear God, like, look at this, folks. Like, we have a load of stuff. We have all this info. Like, they even thought that they were even sentient during the time of the Rakata. So, yeah, like, there's a lot about them. Okay? Just want to put it out there. There's a lot about them in other media before the reset. So, we're going to go with the Legends lore because that's basically. We're going to focus more on the Legends side. Because, again, we have the more info there, and also it's the one that's most well documented. And again, it's because of the reset. As far when it comes when Disney bought Star Wars and did the whole reset of the canon, they left very little. Like it basically they only focus on what is tied to their shows and movies, as opposed to things that don't tie to their movies and shows. And as such, we're going to tackle the Legend side, because Star Wars: The Old Republic was out a good bit before the Disney reset. So they are completely sentient. They can even travel across the stars, which is evidence from the Imperial Agents storyline. Now, we're going to talk about how the Republic treats them first, and the Alderaanians. Now, I just did a whole video on my Star Wars: The Old Republic Trooper storyline, because I just did a series of quests that involved the Kilix there. And we saw how the Alderaanians view the Kilix, how my character had no options to acknowledge that the Kilix were sentient, or like that he had any knowledge really of them. Because the funny thing is, folks, the Kilix pretty much keep to themselves. The fact that they are a mostly unknown bug race is entirely fascinating. And the thing is, the species can range from 3 centimeters in size, or in some cases even smaller. Like, they can range from size of actual insects to 50 meters. Like, there's a huge range of Kilix, and they're broad in terms of their description. As again, we have some that are actually like proper insects, to some that are, very clearly like what's being depicted right now. And that's not getting into their joiners, which is the term when someone joins their hive mind. Now, they are a hive mind species, but they share all experiences and whatnot, but yet there's still a sense of some level of individuality, as is evident from what we see in throughout Star Wars: The Old Republic when we interact with joiners. They still have a sense of themselves. They even acknowledge, like, oh, I remember when I wasn't part of the kind. See, and that's the thing. They refer to themselves as the kind. Now, the Kilix they were used to build some truly massive space stations in the Star Wars universe by the Celestials. The Celestials basically manipulated them to build several things. So yeah, again, like, even here, like, long before most other species came to Alderaan. Now, we do know that this did happen. It is depicted and talked about even in, like, the fact that they left several colonies left Alderaan to try and find new homes and whatnot. They want to expand their kind, and their telepathy even stretches out between the stars. It's truly fascinating, as we saw with Victor, or Vector, I think his name was. So the fact that they have not contacted or came across the Republic, or the Republic hasn't come across them, that's what's truly fascinating. The Keelix are believed to only exist on Alderaan as far as the Republic is concerned. Now, that being said, the Republic sides with the sides with the Alderaanians. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but they side with the humans of Alderaan, and they very much will take part in any kind of extermination test, because the Alderaanians see the Keelix as just semi-sentient, mindless beasts, like insects, like, you know, and so that they're constantly, they do not see themselves like, whereas the Keelix view the others like the arrival of the humans as an invasion. Like, it is truly fascinating. And come on, this is like, it's a very similar thing that we see with what's it called, the Sand People. It's a very similar situation. The Sand People attack the settlers of Tatooine, because from their point of view, advanced technology is, anyone who uses advanced technology are tied to the Rakatan, and through word of mouth, the Sand People pass on stories of when Tatooine was a forest planet, and it was then glassed by the Rakatan Empire because of their rebellion. But then the Sand People, what was the Sand People, went underground. They hid in caves and subterranean networks, and then they split then off into two species: the Jawa people and the Tusken Raiders. But the Tusken Raiders faction kept they viewed any future technology, and again they saw these people coming in from space, so they believe that the Rakatan Empire is back, because again, it's Chinese whispers, all the way down. So the only thing they had to really go off is people coming from the sky. So as such, from the Tusken Raiders' point of view, they're being attacked. The same thing can be happening with the Keelix. Now, I have not read... Hold on, I'm just going to come down to the source. I have not read these books, folks. Okay? Everything I am saying is coming off of the not concept art. It is all coming from Star Wars: The Old Republic when you interact with Keelix, and its codex entry. Okay, I just want that to be completely listed. So yeah, these are the Keelix mounts, which is what eventually led to the thing. As we said, there's a Keelix larva. So I just want that to be clearly stated. So, again, that's my belief of why the Keelix started fighting what would eventually become the Alderaanians. And for some reason, it is quite possible that the pure Keelix species cannot speak. It is quite possible that they cannot speak Galactic Basic. And, here we go. In truth, a few Keelix had remained behind on Alderaan, where they lived in hibernation deep underground every few hundred years. So, okay. So, that is... Okay, so that will explain why. So, they're not constantly fighting. They hibernate. They go back underground, they hibernate, and then they... this whole conflict. So there we go. That is basically what's going on. In the Cold War. Yeah, it was okay. So his name was Vector. So there we go. It was Vector. That I was right. So, but here's the thing: that this has been going on for centuries, or even longer. Every few hundred years. Okay, so it's been going on for thousands of years. Because again, keep in mind, folks, the Old Republic era is quite a far bit off. And again, human colonists discovered Alderaan in 2700, 500 BBY. So this is keep in mind, BBY stands for the battle before the Battle of Yavin. They all discovered there were empty spires along vanquished species that once inhabited the world. By this point, the Keelix had long migrated into deep space for unknown reasons. The only evidence that there was empty highlands. Khan's arrival on Alderaan discovered that verdant world that was abandoned by the insect species. All traces along this was around Castle Khans. So, okay, so Alderaans arrive. They see the mounds. Now, I think the Keelix must have gone. So, from their point of view, the planet was abandoned. Here show degrading levels of technological sophistication. It doesn't seem that the Alderaanian Keelix had lost their ability to function as a hive organism, descended into chaos. The Alderaan colonists in turn came to the world as it was littered with debris of the Keelix civilization. The pre-Alderaan colonization history of the planet remained lost except in the hive mind of the insectoid killers. Meanwhile, the colony that had departed into the deep space saw out a new homeworld for themselves, bringing them to find a planet. This led to the lost kin separating into 1,000 nests that went their different paths. These departed Keelix nests retreated into unknown regions where they remained on a handful of isolated planets for 30 millennia. So, but then, boom, they emerge to see that their planet is now being inhabited by humans. So, okay. So, the Keelix retreat, they had a conflict with the Rakatan. So, during this time, the incursion by Keelix engulfed the planet Korriban, but was driven off by native Sith. Okay, so, sorry. Alright, so, yeah. So the Rakatan tried to use the Keelix as an armed soldier force, a slave army against the Sith. Now we know that the Sith actually drove off the. If you know anything about the Sith, you know that the Sith drove off the Rakatan Empire, and after that conflict is when all the troubles for the Rakatan began, and they started losing their slave empire basically fell apart. So we had the Rakatan using them as a slave army force to get repelled back off the planet. The Rakatan then the Keelix then uprise. They feel like, okay, it's time to leave. So they sent a bunch of colonists out into unknown regions to try and find a new place. They don't. They colonize a few planets, but a few of them stayed behind underground in Alderaan, and they began hibernating. They emerged to see a new set of colonists living on their planet. There's literally no communication. There's no means for these early human colonists of Alderaan to communicate with the Keelix and vice versa. So as such, conflict begins, and things just go on. Now, here's where things get interesting, because we know that the Keelix can cause people to join their hive mind and then talk to them that way. But here's the thing, though. I can understand why then Alderaanians wouldn't talk to a joiner or take them seriously, due to the fact that they'd be like, oh, well, they simply brainwashed the person. They lost all individuality. So I can sort of understand why Alderaanians why there's still this whole conflict, because the Keelix come out of their caves every few centuries. They get into conflict with the Alderaanians because the Alderaanians have I saw something here we go. The people of Alderaan also established the Order of Extermination at some point, and so basically it is written into law that whenever an Alderaanian sees a Keelix, they are to kill it on sight. So again, the Alderaanians are funny enough, Alderaan, which is known for its diplomats and its diplomacy, is literally doing zero diplomacy when it comes to the Keelix. There's zero evidence of any kind of diplomacy going on between the Alderaanians and the Keelix, as well as the Jedi and the Keelix. There's literally no attempts at negotiation, and it's very surprising coming from the Jedi. Now, this is during the Old Republic era, and keep in mind, this whole conflict with the Killiks and the Alderaanians has been going on for quite a while, even by that point. So keep that in mind, folks. Because, let's see, the Cold War, that's when Star Wars The Old Republic takes place. Let's see. We know that human colonists discovered Alderaan, quote-unquote discovered Alderaan, in 27,500 BBY. When does this take place? So the Cold War is 3,653 BBY. So only about, we'll round that up to 3,700. So, boom, they arrive at 27. That is, so let's say, give or take, maybe 1,000 years. So by 26, we'll say, okay, folks, we'll give them the 500 years and then 1,000. So let's say the first Killiks arrive by 26 BBY. That is still 23. That is still 24. Yeah, no, 22. That's still 22,000 years. Oh, you know, it's over 20,000 years of the Killiks and the Alderaan. Alderaan. Oh, that's the end. So sorry, began. There we go. But either way, still, it's over 20,000 years of Alderaan, the Alderaanians having this recurring conflict with the Killiks, and the Republic apparently not getting involved. You know, now when did the Jedi join the Republic? Let's see. We're going off of Legends, so we'll just click to Legends. There is a moment when the Jedi Order joined the Republic. Here we go. Early interactions with the Republic. By 25. Okay, so the Jedi joined the Republic in 2500. Now, they remain isolated on Ossus, but supported the Republic goal of galactic peace. So they remained. Okay, the Great Schism, sometime 24/4/5. The Republic saw truths understood. Brief allegiance to the Order of Southern Tau. I guess. When did they start getting involved? In 1197, BBI, the Republic Supreme Chancellor. That sort of great system creating Hajir darkness. It's approached by the master, finally convinced to end a period of waste. Ships oh yeah, the fucking weird religious cult. So yeah, we're gonna skip down to here. A few generations later, the Jedi returned with their peaceful ways on Ossus. Seen the Republic make a full republic from the Pious Day era. However, 1000 BBY, so it's Great Schism. Great Hyperspace War. In 5000 BBY, the attack of the core system's empire. Interest Republic Jedi to the set sparked the beginning of the Great Hyperspace War. So Jedi experienced the third Greek Schism found also continued to traverse Jedi Fortress World, hold many treasures. Okay, so let me go and just sit travel to Ossus. There's no clear mention. I would have to read through this in more depth of when did the Jedi start acting as peacekeepers and diplomats. Actually, you know, we can Google that right now. When did the Jedi start being Peacekeepers and diplomats. So let's see, when did that happen? Okay, there's literally something here called Jedi diplomat. The Jedi diplomat was a Jedi Knight who followed the teachings of Jedi counselors. They were sent to 10 situations to force compromise. Okay, so the end threat of bloodshed. So this would be date suspended 19 BBY, obviously. When was an actual thing that started? The public decisions based on wow, there's literally no mention of when the start. Okay, so let's check out legends. Jedi Ambassador was a Jedi Knight who followed the teachings of the Jedi counselors, specializing in taking a few. Ambassador was public advisors. Okay. Let's see. We only get their re-establishment. That is interesting. Legends. Wow, there's dark. What? Was their legends section purged? This. What? Like, it feels like the whole thing was purged. Like, that whole section was purged or something. Here we go. Positions. Jedi Initiate, Consular, Master of the Order, subgroups. Okay. So we can't get much of a time period when they acted as. Maybe it would have been during this. The Jedi Service Corps. Is that it? There is anything found by the Jedi Council assigned during the Republic era and sort of serving the more traditional capacity of Jedi because it was run by Jedi Order. The Service Corps were considered Jedi. Were all considered Jedi, though many of their members have failed to pass the initiate trials. Could not proceed at training at Jedi Academy. Okay, yes. Okay, so we can't find when the Jedi start being peacekeepers and diplomats. But my point is, folks, over 20. When did the Jedi Order join the Republic? Sorry. They joined in, 2400 BBY? But again, we had the whole Pompous Dea thing, so we're actually going to ignore that. So, we're going to ignore this whole thing. So, okay, so, however, in 7,003 BBY, so that's still 3,000 years. Like, there's still okay. Like, seriously, folks, that is still 3,000 years, bare minimum. Okay, we're gonna lowball it. Okay, we're gonna lowball it and say 3,000 years. That is still 3,000 years before the Cold War era, which is when SWTOR Alderaan, the Old Republic takes place. That this whole conflict between that the Jedi could have stepped in and tried to find some level of peace, because clearly with Alderaan always being such a beacon of diplomacy, because it's still considered that during the Old Republic era, and it is not the Jedi and the Republic that reach out to try and seek some kind of end between the Alderaanian and the Keelik conflict. You know who does reach out to the Keeliks with a hand of friendship and trying to understand them? It's the Empire and the Sith. Like, oh my god, the fact it is them that reach out. Now, don't get wrong, the Sith went about it for completely selfish reasons, but at least they treat the Keelix as like, oh yeah, no, you're a completely sentient race that has many advantages that you can offer to the Empire. Yeah, the Empire wants to use the Keelix, but they're still acknowledging that they're fucking sentient, and they're not like, you know, like, oh yeah, kill on fucking sight. Now, depending on how you go about the storyline between Vector's storyline, depends on whether or not does he become like a big ambassador for the Keelix, and do the Keelix cement their alliance with the Empire. That can go one or two ways, depending on how you interact with Vector during his personal story. But the fact is, it is on the table. And that is truly fucking baffling. Like, it is just ridiculous. In the Cold War, Dawn Herald, Vector accompanied the Imperial Intelligence agent Cypher 9, that's our character, and intended to seek out the lost kin, and left on the Great Migration centuries ago. Ambassador Hyrelius also sought to promote an alliance between the Sith Empire and the Keelix. In the eras that followed and the end of the Second Great Galactic War, the alien insectoids are considered long extinct, with one of the few traces of their civilization being their ruins, with many mysteries surrounding them. So, boom! Like, right there, it is part of the canon that at least Ambassador Hylaeus sought to promote an alliance between them, and possibly they only went extinct because of, like, the Alderaanians' order of extermination. Like, what the fuck? Like, now, keep in mind now, Alderaan eventually does get Death Starred, but, like, seriously though, folks, we literally just did a mission in Star Wars The Old Republic. Again, I literally recorded a mission just not like an hour ago, I think, at this point, where we had to infiltrate a factory that was torturing Keelix, to drive the Keelix to attack the Organa family and the Republic territory. Now, as a Republic trooper, I denied. I was like, okay, yeah, no, let's stop this torture. But the Alderaan science officer who sent us into the pain factory, she was like, no, let's do it back to let's torture the Keelix and drive them towards the Ulgo faction. And I'm like, they deserve our sympathy. And she's like, no, they're just beasts. Like, the level of contempt that the Alderaanian people have towards the Keelix is mind-baffling. And also, keep in mind, folks, the Keelix are the reason why an eldritch horror entity is imprisoned. Like, the Keelix helped create this space station. Now, they were being controlled by the son and the daughter, but under their influence, they created, I think it's called 0 Point Station. Hold on, is it called 0 Point Station? Let's see here. Hold on, folks. Here we go. Okay, it's Sinkhole Station. So they constructed this station, and what it does is, this station, along with another station that they built, basically creates... here we go. There's the World Pearler, still current Castle Forever. It is believed that they had a hand in construction. Center Point Station. So Center Point Station and Sinkhole Station. These two stations work in tandem with each other. Now they're vastly separated across the galaxy, but they work in tandem to create a series of black holes in the galaxy that became known as the Maw, because of the sheer volume of black holes. But the Keelix had a hand in constructing these devices, and it kept out Abeloth, who is, oh my fucking god, now don't let this silly looking picture fool you, she is a fucking eldritch horror. Hold on, let's see if we can get another picture of it, like one of her other pictures. Hold on. Okay, yeah, there's no legend sect, because there's only her. Hold on. There's an alternate picture of her somewhere. There's the mall. Do we get a picture of her? Do. Is there any artwork of the mother? I've seen pictures of her. Okay, yes, there you go. Like, Sith and Jedi join. She is such a threat that the Sith and the Jedi joined forces to fight her. She is, oh my fucking god. And like, I cannot stress this enough, folks. She is an eldritch horror entity. Like, I'm trying to find if there's any actual... Wait, hold on, was that Leia? Oh no, that's Jahaina Solo or Legendary Fires. Okay. Trying to see if there's actual decent artwork of her. But yeah, no, the Keelix had a hand. My point is, folks, the Keelix had a hand in keeping her locked up. Like, it is just truly fucking baffling that this insectoid species that basically helped protect the galaxy at large, it was treated with such disdain by, for all accounts, invaders. Like, that is what's crazy. Okay, I know. I think we're in the behind the scenes now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're not gonna get any. We're not going to get the picture I'm looking for. But again, trust me, folks. She's an Elder Tower, and the Keelix, the unsung heroes, helped prevented her from destroying the galaxy much earlier on. During the Rakatan time period. But, like, oh my fucking god. The fact, again, I cannot emphasize this enough. Neither the Jedi. Okay, the Alderaanian people, fair enough. It sort of makes sense that they do not view the Keelix as the true inheritors of the planet. They see the Keelix as primitive and whatnot, and that they're just erupting from underneath the ground to attack them. Fair enough. But you would think at some point with all the fucking telepaths, because again, keep in mind, folks, the Jedi, there are several Jedi within the Jedi Order. Telepathy is, I believe, one of the listed abilities of the Jedi. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So no, I shouldn't be looking at the canon. Keep everything to the legends. So we're just going to click Jedi, just to try and get a sense of their powers. Okay, let's see here. Is there an ability section? No, there is not. Okay, we'll list the Force. Here we go. Force powers. Right. Applications. Here we go. Now, let's see. It comes down to control, sense, and whatnot. The sense display is taught by Padawans to broaden the scope of their control abilities, deepening the level of Force. Sense abilities allowed Force wielders to immerse themselves in the environment. By the end of their apprenticeship, Padawans are expected to use the Force to additional sense and constantly tune to undulations. Life detection, sense Force, post cognition, projected telepathy. Okay, oh shit! Now this is the problem with me with my ad blocker and using that, going onto these pages now. We're sort of forced to bounce around. Okay, so projected telepathy. So let's see here. Telepathy is a vast space. We read, interact with other minds, mentally communicate. Now we see this being used by the Jedi in the Clone Wars. So every Force user, Jedi or Sith, was potentially able to use this ability. Was a telepathic species. So there are some species that are innately telepathic, like he is. But again, and we even saw Luke use it to use. Like, keep in mind, Luke is only at this point. Luke was only vaguely trained by Yoda, and was sort of spiritually trained, I believe, a little bit by Ben. So keep. Telepathy was a very big. Okay, see, look here. As telepathy was a very basic use of the Force, the relatively untrained Luke Skywalker was able to employ it to reach out to his twin sister. So, like, he was able to reach it. Now, keep in mind, he is a child of a Jedi, so therefore, it has been shown that, like, children of Jedi tend to be exceptionally more powerful than the average random citizen who has potential been using the Force. So, okay, give him some level of credit, but the fact that it's a very basic technique according to this. And again, like, there are also like several species that are innately telepathic. So, and it's basically how the Jedi mind trick worked. So you're telling me an order of space wizards who saw themselves as peace-loving and peacekeepers and as diplomats and as ambassadors, you're saying a whole bunch of them have been interacting with Alderaan and the Republic for so long that not one Jedi heard of the Helix situation on Alderaan and was like, you know what? Why don't we go down here and investigate? Or, better yet, there's not one Jedi that was initially from Alderaan, taken in as a child. Like, let's say, obviously younger than Anakin. But there was not one person who was like, maybe I can use my newfound abilities of telepathy to better understand the Helix. No. And again, this is just more evidence that the Republic and the Jedi Order were not like the good guys that the movies and shows often portray themselves as. Because a similar thing, like, they turn a blind eye to the genocide of the Helix, but that's not the only time they turn a blind eye to something. They turned a blind eye to what was happening to the Kalish species. Now, mind you, this is funny enough, because that was an insect race that was essentially given full reign to fuck over another sentient race, the Kalish species, which was General Grievous's people. Let's see if I can bring them up here. Wow, really? You can't bring up Legends. Really? Here you go, arthropods. Does that help? No, it does not. That is really, really annoying. Okay, so basically, folks, there was an insect race that was abusing the Kalish, enslaving them, killing them. The Kalish were trying to fight back. The Kalish that would eventually become General Grievous. He led a massive counter-invasion force against the Bug People, and the Jedi and the Republic basically sided with the Bug People because the Bug People had a lot of money, a lot of credits, a lot of resources that they were given to the Republic, so the Republic turned a blind eye to them, and the Jedi, believing that the Republic were the good guys, not realizing the level of fucking corruption that's going on, decided to side with the Republic and the Bug People. They pushed back Grievous and his forces back to the world of Kalish, and then they heavily punished, and it was horrible. There's a reason why General Grievous has such a hatred for the Jedi, and it is purely because of how the Republic seems to side with things that benefit them. Which is funny, because again, the Helix are clearly very exceptional builders. There's a reason why the son and the daughter would use them to build decision. Again, they were a spacefaring species. Now, because of the huge migration that did leave Alderaan, the tribe on Alderaan did recess back down in terms of technology. But if you clearly let them, like, it's just, wow. It's just baffling to me that no Jedi stepped in to broker peace between the Alderaanians and the Keelix, and that the Republic just essentially turned a blind eye to the genocide of the species for so long, it's just wow. Okay, folks, this video has gone on for 5 minutes. We've gone down multiple rabbit holes of trying to find when the Jedi Order joins the Republic, how many millennia went by with them doing nothing to help the Keelix, and how the Empire and the Sith of all species and factions are the only ones to reach out to the Keelix in any kind of hand of friendship, even if it was self-serving. Oh my god. I'm just going to end this video here, folks. I'm the Celtic Nerd, signing out. One name, one sky, justice for the Keelix.